studied the McDonald's case, a fast food restaurant who is battling their worst revenue in 2014 that they've had in years. We figured out that the cause of this is their mission creep. They used to do decent quality food at a low price quickly and have now branched out to over 192 different menu offerings. This has increased their prices without increasing their quality or their service.
So we identified 4 potential solutions for McDonald's to solve this problem, and then we analyzed the implementation cost and time, the impact image that that's going to have, and what the appeal that it's going to have on the customers. The first solution would just be to stay the course, to stay with the 192 menu options, to stay with the course that has got their CEO fired back in 2015, and that would be the first solution. With that, we said that the implementation cost and time, there really isn't any at all, because you're just staying on what you're already doing. The direct image impact is negative, because we already know that the current solution is a negative impact. Traditional customers, they don't like that. As we're seeing, they're losing market share, they're losing their business, and the new customer appeal is also low with that solution. So overall, with that whole solution, the risk to the level of business is very high, because we already know what that path is.
So the second solution we proposed was doing somewhat of a partial restructure. That would be kind of a hybrid of a couple different solutions up here. It would be more aimed towards capturing back the traditional customer. It'd be getting back to that traditional focus of cheap food at a relatively, medium quality, but it's a fast food chain, so at a high rate. The aim would be to eliminate some of the menu items, because as the case mentioned, they're currently advertising almost 200 menu items, so it'd be getting back to some of the basics by reducing maybe some of the things that aren't ordered quite as frequently, but still keeping some of the healthier options like apple slices and things of that nature. Things that people are actually ordering. They're not going to McDonald's looking for healthy options anymore. There's too many alternatives. So with these changes in mind, though, with the partial restructure, we would propose investing in training of their employees to get back to more accurate ordering. So not only do we want to get the traditional customers back, but we want the less frequent customers, we want to make sure they're coming back because we're getting the order right the first time. So that's kind of the partial restructure solution.
Okay, the third solution would be a complete overhaul of the system. What do we mean? Basically what we're talking about is becoming the healthy and hip McDonald's restaurant. So really we want to try to be the place that everywhere that people want to be, a place they want to hang out. We're talking updated facilities, completely new look, new modern furniture, new layouts, etc. Also completely new menu, fresh and healthy sandwiches, fresh unpackaged fruits, and even vegetables, maybe some great coffee, yogurt, soups, basically healthy options only, getting completely away from the really super unhealthy cheeseburgers. That also would include completely retraining your staff, new distribution systems and networks to handle those fresh items that they don't really have right now, and lots of advertising and initiatives. So that's the actual solution itself. As far as the decision itself, the implementation costs will be very high. We're talking retraining staff, major capital investments for the renovations, heavy advertising capital, replacement of equipment, even the business model and supply chain has to be revamped. For implementation time, we also have very high. We're talking the same thing with the renovations. Takes time, retraining, even the equipment has lead, and then especially the business restructuring will take a lot of time to implement. For the direct image impact itself, we're talking high in theory. For the best case, the image will be changed to from a a super unhealthy company to a ultra healthy company. So that's the change we're trying to happen. For the traditional customers, we're talking a low due to normal customers that like the cheeseburgers will be turned off by this. And as far as a new customer appeal, we're talking a medium. The customers normally view McDonald's as they have been for how many years, and it may be viewed as a Me Too business, and those are very hard to sell. So it could have some appeal, but it's also an uphill battle. The risk to the business itself is very high. It's a large capital investment gamble. There are many unknowns with what's going on, and in terms of customer adaptations, we don't really know what's going on as far as if they like it or not, so it would take some effort there. If it fails, it's very expensive to reverse. In order to go back to what you were doing, you're talking a lot more capital, etc. And I think the biggest danger is the Me Too mentality of McDonald's trying this. It could completely ruin their reputation that they have built up, so we do have to be careful about that as well.
The fourth solution that we came up with, or that we suggest, is the traditional structure. So that's going back to doing what McDonald's knows best. McDonald's stands for value, consistency, and convenience. And as of the last couple of years, they've gotten away from that. They've inflated their menu options to nearly 200 items, and that changes how they operate. They've done away with the training that they previously did, which really sped up their process and made quality customer service. So with this traditional structure, we would re-implement the training to improve service. We'd reduce the menu size, and that would ultimately help reduce costs. 30% of our sales came from 5 items: Big Macs, cheeseburgers, hamburgers, French fries, and McNuggets. So essentially we would shrink down the menu to an adequate level, which we would just focus on what we sell the most of. The implementation cost, as you can see, would be low. We'd really just be looking at the numbers and seeing what we sell the most of. And the implementation time would be relatively low. The direct image impact would be moderate, and the traditional customer appeal would be high because we'd most likely be keeping what we sell the most of. The new customer appeal would be relatively low because they might not like the options that we keep. The risk level to the business, I would say it would be moderate to high, but I think that it would really help from a cost standpoint.
So the solution that we actually went with was a partial restructure, but focused on the traditional. So we're going to go back to what we do best. We're going to reinstate our training so that we can get the orders right the first time. We're also going to stick to the items that we sell the most of. There's no sense in having all of these healthy options if no one's buying them and they're driving up the prices for everything else. Obviously, we're going to fix those locations that are in dire need and are falling apart, so that's part of the partial restructure as well. But McDonald's has built their image on being a quick service, value type of place, and that is a very, very hard image to change. So work with that and do what you do best.